few criminals strike terror into the hearts of an entire city. Fewer still manage to become the subject of local legends that are told around campfires for decades afterwards. Albert Fish, however, managed to do just that. And his crimes were so heinous, they earned him the title of the Boogeyman of New York. Albert Fish was born in 1870, and by all accounts, had a normal upbringing. He was described as a bright child who excelled at school, but as he grew older, he became increasingly disturbed. In his early teens, he began having violent fantasies about young boys and would often masturbate while looking at pictures of children. His behavior was so disturbing that at one point, his own mother had to lock him in a room for 2 weeks to prevent him from doing something terrible. In 1905, Albert Fish did something terrible. He was convicted of assaulting a 9-year-old boy and served for years in prison for his crime. But instead of being rehabilitated, Fish became even more depraved behind bars. He befriended several known murderers and took part in satanic rituals with them. One of these men, a serial killer named H. Holmes, even taught Fish how to make a woman's skirt without a pattern, a skill that would become relevant in the future. In 1910, Fish was released from prison and soon began stalking the streets of New York City, specifically the wealthy neighborhood of Greenwich Village. His weapon of choice was a simple knife, which he used to brutally assault and murder his victims. Though his first confirmed murder was until 1924, when the body of an 8-year-old boy was found in a vacant apartment. The victim had been stabbed multiple times, and it was clear that whoever had done this had dismembered the boy after he died. A trail of blood led from the apartment to a nearby house where police found more body parts, but the killer was already gone. Though he would evade the police for several years, Albert Fish was eventually caught and sentenced to 20 years in prison for the murder. However, he was far from finished. In 1926, another 8-year-old boy was found dead with stab wounds to the chest. And though Fish wasn't at the crime scene, police quickly linked him to the murder through forensic evidence. After hearing this news, Fish actually confessed to the crime and was subsequently given an additional 30 years to life in prison. But before he could be sent to prison, Fish did something that shocked the public and has become his most infamous act to date. In a letter to the mother of one of his victims, Fish explained in explicit detail exactly what he had done to her son. What makes this particularly sinister is that Fish actually bragged about his crimes and showed no remorse whatsoever. This was the first time in history that a criminal had tried to glorify his crimes, and it's a tactic that many have copied since then. Over the next few years, Albert Fish confessed to over 30 murders, though it's believed that he actually killed over 100 people. But his crimes weren't just limited to murder. During the 1930s, there were a series of burglaries in New York City, and police suspected that Fish was responsible. But when they searched his home, they found something that shocked them. It wasn't just the usual weapons or tools that are commonly associated with burglary, but an entire workshop filled with women's skirts made from a variety of different materials. Fish had used his unique skill to not only cover up his crimes, but also to collect trophies of sorts. Albert Fish died in prison in 1936 at the age of 65. To this day, he remains one of the most evil men to ever live, and his crimes continue to shock and disturb people all over the world.